5 friends go on a vacation to a remote cabin. But what they don't know is that every single move they make is being watched and controlled by a secret organization for a terrifying purpose. The film opens deep within a sterile underground laboratory. 2 scientists, 𝗟𝗏𝗀 and 𝗦𝗂𝗲, are going about their work. They are overseeing a secret project, an operation so classified that almost no one knows it exists. And this is not just happening here. Similar secret operations are running simultaneously in different countries around the world. So far, every other location has failed in their task. Now, the entire operation rests on the success of the American facility and their counterparts in Japan. Meanwhile, above ground, we meet 5 friends preparing for a weekend trip. There's Dana, a thoughtful and intelligent young woman, and her friend Marty, a laid-back and slightly paranoid stoner. The rest of their group includes Kurt, Jules, and Holden. They are piling into an RV for a trip to a remote woodland area. Their plan is to spend a few days at a deserted cabin that was recently purchased by Kurt's cousin. But as they drive away, they are being watched. From a balcony across the street, a man observes their departure and makes a call, calmly reporting that the subjects have left right on schedule. During their journey, the friends stop at a rundown, isolated gas station. The owner is a grim and unsettling man. He doesn't just refuse to sell them gas, he actively mistreats them and warns them with a creepy intensity. Despite his hostility, they manage to get directions to the cabin from him before driving off, feeling a little unnerved. The road to the cabin is long and lonely, a single path cutting through the dense forest. As they drive through a dark tunnel, a bird flies high above them. Suddenly, it smashes into an invisible, energy-like wall and falls dead from the sky. It's a strange and ominous sign, hinting at a powerful, unseen barrier surrounding the entire area. Finally, the group arrives at the old, secluded cabin. It's as rustic and creepy as they expected. As they settle in, Dana's friend Holden notices a strange, disturbing painting hanging on the living room wall. The image is disturbing, so Holden takes it down. Behind it, he discovers a 2-way mirror built into the wall. He can see into the adjacent bedroom where Dana is standing, but Dana cannot see him. Intrigued and a little creeped out, Holden goes to tell Dana about his discovery. They decide to swap bedrooms because of the weird mirror. Dana, feeling unsettled by the painting's violent imagery, hangs it back up to cover the mirror and then drapes a cloth over the painting to hide its horrifying face. What the friends don't know is that every single move they are making is being watched. We return to the underground lab, where 𝗟𝗏𝗀, 𝗦𝗂𝗲, and a team of technicians observe the cabin and the entire surrounding forest through a vast array of hidden cameras. And they are in total technological control of the environment. A call comes in for 𝗟𝗏𝗀. It's the creepy gas station attendant. He reports that he has completed his part perfectly, having sent the kids to the cabin without a full tank of gas, effectively trapping them. He coldly states that the friends are now as good as dead. Back in the control room, the mood is almost celebratory. The technicians begin placing bets, gambling on which terrifying monster will be chosen to hunt and kill the 5 unsuspecting friends. Back at the cabin, the 5 friends are chatting and trying to have a good time. Without any warning, the heavy wooden door to the cellar suddenly swings open all by itself. The friends are startled and surprised. What could be down there in the darkness? Driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, they decide to go down the creaky stairs to investigate. The cellar is filled with strange and old objects, dolls, books, and artifacts. But Marty, feeling increasingly anxious and perceptive, senses that something is very wrong. He urges his friends to leave the cellar immediately and get away from this place. But his friends, fascinated by the odd treasures, laugh off his worries and refuse to listen. The friends continue to explore the collection of bizarre and alluring objects. Each item seems to call out to them, charming yet deeply unsettling. Dana finds a particularly disturbing item, an old diary that belonged to a little girl named Patience Buckner. She begins to read the diary aloud, and it tells a horrifying story. Patience wrote about the terrible tortures she and her family endured. She described how her father, a gruesome man they called the Pain Monster, tortured them, which ultimately led to her hand being dismembered and her mother's death. The diary contains a dire warning. It states that if anyone reads the Latin incantation written on its pages aloud, it will bring Patience's murdered family back to life. But they will not return as humans. They will return as vengeful zombies, and they will kill everyone. Hearing this, Marty is immediately frightened. He begs Dana to stop and forbids anyone from reading the spell, sensing the genuine danger. But Dana and the others, especially Jules, just laugh it off. They think it's all a silly ghost story. How could reading words from an old book possibly make anything happen? Defying Marty's warnings, Dana reads the Latin incantation aloud. At first, nothing happens, and the friends mock the anticlimax. But far away from the cabin, in a desolate graveyard, the spell has worked. The ground begins to shift as the Buckner family, now transformed into rotting, murderous zombies, claw their way out of their graves. They have been revived, and they are now heading toward the cabin. Back in the control room, the scientists watch with satisfaction. The sensors have detected the summoning. The team that bet on the zombie redneck torture family is declared the winner, and their name is officially written on a large board. This board reveals the terrifying scope of the operation, as it is covered in the names of countless other monsters and creatures that could have been chosen, from werewolves to giant snakes. We even get a brief glimpse of the parallel operation in Japan, where a group of schoolgirls is being terrorized by a ghostly, long-haired demon named Kayako, showing that this horrific ritual is a global event. Back at the cabin, the horror becomes real. Two of Dana's friends, Kurt and Jules, have gone out into the woods for some private time. The scientists in the lab are watching them closely. Suddenly, the zombified father, 𝗦𝗂𝗯𝘀𝗲, attacks. He brutally assaults Jules, and when Kurt tries to fight him off, he is easily overpowered and left wounded. 𝗦𝗂𝗯𝘀𝗲 then drags Jules away and violently kills her. The moment Jules dies, a scientist in the lab pulls a large lever. In a hidden chamber beneath the facility, a complex line art representing a human body is partially filled with red fluid, symbolizing the sacrificial offering of Jules' blood. A short time later, the wounded and terrified Kurt staggers back to the cabin. He reveals everything to his friends, explaining the attack and Jules' gruesome death. He insists they have to leave the cabin immediately, or the zombies will hunt them down and kill them all. Suddenly, a heavy knock echoes from the front door. The friends are frozen in fear, and no one wants to open it. But Dana, hoping it might be Jules, cautiously unlocks it and pulls the door open. It is not Jules. Standing on the doorstep is the zombie father, 𝗦𝗂𝗧𝗧. He is holding Jules' severed head. With a cold, dead stare, he throws the head into Dana's arms before she can slam the door shut. The remaining friends, now in a complete panic, lock every door and window. Kurt suggests a smart plan for survival. They must barricade themselves inside and stay together in one group. They cannot separate under any circumstances. In the control room, Sitterson and Hadley grow worried. This is a sensible plan, and if the friends stick to it, they might actually survive the night, which would mean the entire ritual has failed. The scientists cannot allow that to happen. So, with the push of a button, they release a chemical gas into the cabin's air vents. Kurt, who was just advocating for them to stay together, suddenly inhales the gas and his demeanor completely changes. He now irrationally insists that they should all separate and lock themselves in different rooms to hide. Confused and scared, the others agree, and one by one, they go into separate rooms, each locking the door behind them, isolating themselves perfectly for the hunt. But in his room, Marty's sharp eyes notice something glinting in the woodwork. It's a camera lens, and nearby he spots hidden cables. He finally understands the truth. They are not just victims of a random haunting. They are being watched and manipulated. The entire cabin is a controlled environment. But before he can process this fully, a zombie smashes through his window. The rotting creature attacks him, and in a violent struggle it pulls Marty out of the room and drags him away into the dark woods. From the perspective of the scientists in the control room, Marty's life signal flatlines. They believe he is dead. To mark the sacrifice, another lever is pulled, and a second section of the mysterious bodyline art is filled with blood, representing Marty's death. Now only 3 friends remain: Dana, Kurt, and Holden. They regroup and make a desperate run for their RV, hoping to drive to safety. Meanwhile, we see that the American facility is now the world's only hope. The parallel operation in Japan has failed. There, a group of schoolchildren successfully performed a ritual that transformed their terrifying demon into a harmless frog, breaking the cycle and dooming their own ceremony. Back at the cabin, Dana, Kurt, and Holden race the RV towards the tunnel, their only way out. They believe they are about to escape, but they are tragically wrong. They are still completely under the control of the lab. With the push of a button, the scientists trigger explosives throughout the tunnel. The entrance collapses in a shower of rock and debris, completely blocking their escape. With the road gone, Kurt comes up with a daring plan. He will use his motorcycle to jump the massive chasm that has opened up, get to the other side, and bring back help. He revs the engine and speeds toward the gap, launching himself into the air. For a moment it seems he might make it, but instead of landing on the other side, his bike smashes head-on into the same invisible energy barrier that killed the bird earlier. The impact is fatal, and Kurt dies instantly. Another lever is pulled in the lab, and a third part of the body art is filled. Now Dana is alone with Holden. They get back into the RV to search for another way out, but they are not alone. A zombie is hiding in the back of the vehicle. It suddenly attacks, thrusting a metal rod through Holden's throat, killing him. The RV, now out of control, crashes through a barrier and plunges into a dark, deep lake. Dana manages to fight her way out of the sinking vehicle and escapes the zombie, scrambling to the shore, where she collapses, exhausted and utterly alone. But then, a figure emerges from the trees. It's Marty. He is badly wounded but very much alive. He had faked his death to escape the watchful eyes of the cameras. The lab department, seeing his vital signs disappear, had written him off, believing Dana to be the final survivor. Marty helps Dana up and takes her to the spot where the zombie dragged him. He shows her that he fought back and managed to dismember his attacker, but the zombie, unnaturally persistent, is still twitching and trying to get up. Marty explains everything he has discovered. They are being watched by cameras, and the whole area is a technologically controlled prison. With no other options left, they discover a hidden hatch in the ground. It leads to a large industrial elevator. They step inside, and it descends deep into the earth, taking them far below the cellar. When the doors open, they are not in a simple basement. They are in a massive, futuristic laboratory. As they move through the sterile corridors, they catch sight of countless glass containment cells, each one holding a different, nightmarish monster from folklore and legend. Down in the main control room, the scientists finally get the alert. Their two remaining survivors have not only stayed alive, but they have broken into the heart of the facility itself. The director, a stern woman, realizes the severity of the breach. She immediately dispatches a team of armed security guards with one simple, brutal order: find the intruders and kill them both. The security guard sent to kill Dana and Marty finds them, but the two friends, now fighting for their lives, manage to overpower him and defeat him together. Shaken and confused, they venture deeper into the facility and hear a calm, automated announcement echoing through the halls. The voice explains that for the good of humanity, the ritual must be completed, and the remaining survivors must willingly offer their lives as a sacrifice. Terrified by this revelation, Dana and Marty hide in a nearby room. By chance, they have stumbled into the facility's main control room. This is the nerve center where everything is controlled, from the cameras in the woods to the containment cells holding hundreds of nightmarish monsters and animals. The entire lab team, led by the director, quickly converges on the control room to capture them. Cornered and with no way out, Dana makes a split-second decision. She reaches out and slams her hand down on a large, prominent red button. None of the scientists could have predicted this reckless act. With the press of that button, every single containment cell in the entire facility is unlocked. The heavy elevator doors that lead to the monster habitats slide open all at once. A tidal wave of creatures pours into the corridors. Zombies, werewolves, ghosts, and every imaginable monster begin a chaotic rampage, killing scientists and attacking each other. The zombie family, along with other horrors, breaks into the control room where Sitterson and Hadley are stationed. The monsters brutally kill one of the scientists, while the director barely manages to escape, saving her own life. Dana and Marty fight their way through the carnage and eventually find the director in the ancient ritual chamber deep below the modern lab. Here, they see the source of the bodyline art. 5 intricate carvings representing each of the 5 archetypes: the whore, the athlete, the scholar, the fool, and the virgin. They see that 4 of them have been filled with blood. Only the virgin's carving, representing Dana, remains empty. The director, knowing it is her last chance, explains everything to them. She reveals the true purpose of the operation. Deep beneath the earth, an ancient race of giant evil gods, known as the Ancient Ones, slumbers. To keep them asleep and prevent them from rising to destroy all of humanity, a specific ritual must be performed every year. This requires the blood sacrifice of 5 young people in a specific order: the whore, the athlete, the scholar, the fool, and finally, the virgin. This ritual must happen simultaneously in facilities across the world. She tells Dana and Marty that since all other global operations have failed, the fate of the world now rests on them. To save everyone, they must die to complete the ritual before the sun rises. The director's words get inside Dana's head. Under the immense pressure and the weight of the world, she becomes convinced. She picks up a gun and, in a moment of terrible conflict, points it at Marty. Believing his death as the fool is the only way to save humanity. But before she can pull the trigger, a werewolf suddenly attacks her, knocking the gun from her hand. Marty grabs the weapon and fires at the creature, driving it away. A fierce struggle then breaks out between Marty and the director. In the middle of this fight, the little girl zombie from the Buckner family appears. She swings her axe, killing the director instantly. Marty then pushes both the director's body and the little girl zombie over the edge of a large stone pit, sending them falling into the darkness below. With the immediate threat gone, Dana and Marty believe the nightmare is finally over. They sit down amidst the ruins of the facility, sharing a moment of exhausted relief and smoking a cigarette. Dana apologizes to Marty for pointing the gun at him, but things are not all right. The ritual was never completed. The Virgin was not sacrificed, and because of this failure, the one thing the facility was designed to prevent is now happening. The ground begins to shake violently. From the giant pit, a colossal, monstrous hand, belonging to one of the Ancient Ones, smashes through the earth and reaches up into the sky. This single hand signifies the beginning of the end. All the ancient evil gods are now awakening. They will rise from their slumber and proceed to wipe out all of humanity. The film ends on this apocalyptic scene. On IMDb, this movie was rated by 483,000 people and has an average rating of 7.0. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos like this.